Killer Nation, in all of my travels around the metal universe, and all of my travels around the music realm, there is one central truth that I have come to know and come to abide by. And that is Steel Panther is not for everybody. But Steel Panther should be for everybody. Steel Panther is probably not for the following groups: uptight parents, young children, women, gay men, tipper gore, and minorities. Yeah. And probably if you're white and you're not Steel Panther, it's probably not for you either. So that means that the only people that should be buying the album Balls Out by Steel Panther that I'm about to review is indeed Steel Panther themselves. However, that's not the case. In fact, Steel Panther's Balls Out charted on the FYE Top 20 charts at number 13, which is odd because 13 by Megadeth charted at number 3 behind only a rapper and a kid, a 16-year-old schmuck who might have a love child. More on that some other time, once we get some more concrete information. Steel Panther is kind of what you would call a joke band, but in reality this is just glam metal from the 1980s, resurrected in 2011, and it's gone wild and crazy. The lyrics sometimes are absurd. They're extremely explicit, not to mention extremely, extremely hazardous and just provocative. Almost chauvinistic. This is a band that praises the idea of getting drunk, doing drugs, fucking bitches, and especially in the butt. They really like the butt. Like, seriously, they are butt fiends. They are butt pirates. They really like the poop shoot. They are poop shoot pirates. Poop shoot pirates. Pirates! Man, gonna make your dick roll brown. Okay, that didn't work. But anyways, this band with Balls Out has really taken a really big leap. They've taken a huge leap because their fan base has definitely come out and shown that we love Steel Panther. We love the absurd. We love the perverse. We love just the explicit nature of the music because not only are those funny, but also the music behind it, the glam metal resurrection from the 1980s that you're hearing interlaced throughout this whole entire album is fantastic. Now consider the different bands that this particular group came from, from the ashes of bands such as Dokken and LA Guns, bands that were already in that environment, bands that already know about that environment, and bands that are able to play to that environment. The only difference is that instead of talking about love in a very respectful way, in a way that's very representative of what glam metal was all about, these guys have decided to crank it up not to 11, but all the way up to that favorite number that I like to say, 69. They love it. There's a lot of pop culture references in this album as well. There's a song on there called Just Like Tiger Woods. There's references to Angry Birds. There's even a reference to Justin Bieber. I told you we'd get back to it. In fact, I would not be surprised if after this whole entire love child debate with Justin Bieber, that Steel Panther don't go back into the studio and think to themselves, you know what? We're going to make a whole entire EP based around this nonsense. And it's going to be called Steel Panther Eats Justin Bieber's Baby. They're not believers. They're Steel Panther. Steel Panther, Steel Panther, Steel Panther. Surprisingly enough, this is a pretty damn good album. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be really hit or miss for a lot of people because they're going to listen to the lyrics and it's going to immediately predetermine how they feel about this record and the music that's behind it. That is very well constructed, very well crafted, very good period music for the time of the 1980s that has been resurrected here in 2011 will be completely and utterly alienated whenever they form their judgment simply based around the fact that they cannot get over the lewd and explicit content that is coming out of the mouth of the lead singer. And that's where a lot of people aren't like me. I like this album, even with the lyrics. The lyrics sometimes get a little cheesy. The lyrics sometimes get a little formulaic. The lyrics sometimes get a little bit over the top. But the music itself is great. The music is fantastic. In fact, this is an album where you could easily listen to it in your car whenever you're all by yourself, or even with you whenever you're at a bunch of your friends going to some strip club or some bar, or maybe you're going to go get a couple of hookers and have a gangbang. Maybe you're going to fuck 17 women in a row just like Steel Panther. Best of luck to you. Make sure you have a toaster. But this is just an album that's flat out fun. And the fun should be what's reflected. You should love this album because it is a fun record. And you should definitely give this album a try and kind of move past the fact that the lyrics are bad. You know, who cares about the explicitness of lyrics? You guys listen to rap probably. You guys are like, ugh.
this is terrible because all they talk about is sex.
What about Lil Wayne? What about every other rapper imaginable?
Oh, this is terrible. All they're talking about is, love, and they're degrading women and stuff like that.
In reality, didn't Justin Bieber degrade a 20-year-old and now might be the father of her love child? And they did it in the Staples Center, on a bench. How awkward is that? Or no, it wasn't a bench, it was a shelf. Who cares? The point of the matter is that Steel Panther's Balls Out is a balls-out affair that resurrects all of the heights of glam metal and cranks it up to 69, as I previously stated. This is an album that is certainly worth your investigation, and this is an album that will certainly surprise you. Listen to the music along with the lyrics. Focus on the music if you don't like the lyrics. Because if you do that, you'll still end up liking this album because of the music, and the lyrics will just sort of exist as a roadblock. But for those of you that actually have good senses of humor out there, and for those of you that aren't afraid to listen to something that's not necessarily conventional, you're going to like the album for both reasons. The construction is good, the execution is good, and I laughed. That's a successful album for a band such as Steel Panther, and it's a successful album for Steel Panther because the people obviously want Steel Panther. Do you want Steel Panther? You should.